Mr. McCaffrey, you have been nominated to be Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs at a time when the military health system is undergoing the most significant reform in decades. If confirmed, you will face numerous complex challenges. You will oversee the transition of military hospitals and clinics from the services to the Defense Health Agency. You will be responsible for right-sizing medical personnel and infrastructure to focus on the operational medical force readiness requirements of combatant commanders. Improving quality, safety, and access to care in military hospitals and clinics in the civilian provider networks will be an important area of focus, as will improving the value of health care services for all beneficiaries. You will be responsible for all this while ensuring that warfighters get the most advanced medical care on the battlefield. This is no small task. Dr. Bookless, if confirmed as the Principal Deputy Administrator of the NNSA, your most important task will be helping to implement the 2018 Nuclear Posture Review. That review confirmed what we already knew. We have been standing still while our adversaries, namely China and Russia, have been enlarging and diversifying their nuclear arsenals. If confirmed, you will work to modernize and maintain our nuclear warheads. You will also be responsible for coordinating with the DoD on nuclear programs, refurbishing or replacing the NNSA's aging infrastructure, and recruiting and retaining some of the most specialized workers in the world. I thank you both for your willingness to serve in these important positions, and before hearing your testimony, I'm delighted to recognize the ranking member, Senator Reid.
Well,
thank you very much to both of our witnesses, and now we will begin a round of questioning with 5 minutes on the clock for each senator. Mr. McCaffrey, the Defense Health Agency assumed management and control of military hospitals and clinics on October 1st, when several facilities transitioned from the services to the Defense Health Agency. What good things have we seen during this transition, and what problems have been encountered?
So with regard to, as you mentioned, on October 1st, 8 large military treatment facilities and their associated clinics transferred from the individual services to the Defense Health Agency. And one of the positive things that we have learned is our approach in implementing this mandate from Congress is to do this over a phased transition. And so we've been able to use thus far what we're learning in those sites to work out kinks in terms of communication between the Defense Health Agency and the individual service-run treatment facilities, and that will then inform how we continue the implementation with the next a big heavy lift on October 1st of 2019. One of the positives that we learned is that while this is a significant, what I would say, enterprise management change, to borrow a Navy phrase on the deck plate, everyone the service has continued, the support of our readiness mission has continued uninterrupted, patient care has been uninterrupted. In terms of the staff and the patients, I think this change has been seamless, and we want to go forward with that. In terms of the challenges, I would say I think there was a little trepidation on the part of the upper management, and we were talking about this very significant and dramatic change in the system of were our folks ready? And I've had the opportunity to meet with the commanding officers and the staff at the MTFs, and they are mission-driven. They get the job done, and this is something that they are able to carry out very effectively.
Was there trepidation or resistance?
I would say trepidation. It is, we're making a change that's probably the most significant change in over 30 to 40 years in the system. And that magnitude of change, I think, makes people nervous. There's anxiety, which I think is very natural. But at the end of the day, when I visited the MTFs that I was able to engage with, the folks on site, the leadership, the staff, were clearly ready to do this. They recognize the opportunity, and they get the mission done.
Thank you very much. Dr. Bookless, some of NNSA's labs and plants are facing a wave of retirements of senior technical staff. At some sites, up to half of current staff will be eligible to retire in the next few years. How big of a problem is this, and what do you think we should do to encourage young people with technical skills to come work for the NNSA and its laboratories so that we can stay competitive in this area?
Senator, I think that the laboratories and plants have experienced challenges over the years with recruiting the next generation workforce. I believe that they've been very successful to date in keeping their workforce fully staffed, but the challenges are particularly difficult today with the competition with the technical community. The competition for technically trained individuals is high in the country.
In the private sector?
In the private sector, correct. Well, and in other parts of the government as well. And I think that right now, if I understand it correctly, NNSA has many partnerships with both colleges, universities, and the private sector in trying to attract the next generation workforce. I think that that is something that, if confirmed, I would be personally involved with and work very hard to expand our partnerships with colleges and universities. I think once we get individuals into our system and they see the nature and importance of the work, it is a very strong attractant.
Thank you very much. Senator Reed. Thank you, Senator Donnelly. Senator Donnelly, who was your primary Republican co-sponsor on the Jacob-Sexton Act?
I was fortunate to have the help of Senator Ernst. I was fortunate to have the help of Senator Wicker, who has been an extraordinary partner. And, you know, I will tell you this, it could never have been done without Roger Wicker.
Well, you know, we do so many things that don't get a lot of publicity, and I would say that the issues that are maybe not on the front page, but just below that are some of the most bipartisan accomplishments we have. And I appreciate your leadership on this issue. Well, I think it'll be one of your great legacies.
Thank you. I know what Senator Wicker focused on so strongly too, being from a state that in Mississippi takes such good care of our veterans and of our service members, that we've been losing over 400 service members every year. And Senator Wicker's remarkable nonstop effort to end that has been really an inspiration to me. It was a wonderful thing to be partner with such a good teammate.
Well, thank you for what you did on that. Let me just make one more point, if I might, then, before we close this down, Mr. McCaffrey. On the non-deployable problem that we talked about early on in this hearing, you were asked some of the things we could do, and you said embedding mental health personnel. By that answer, are you suggesting that it is mental health issues that are among the primary factors for our unacceptable levels of military?
It's one of the factors.
What are some of the others?
The largest one would be musculoskeletal injuries. And so there, I think the tie to the physical therapist being, embedded in operational units, and that's already happening with some of the services. But another issue has been mental health. I don't know, how it compares in relationship to musculoskeletal, but it's I think some of the common injuries of training and in a deployed setting that we need to do a better job in intervening more quickly.
Right. And then on the suicide prevention, I think it's worth saying again, Senator Donnelly, that it's not up to the military member to self-report. It's not up to the veteran to self-report. And that's why the emphasis has been on on universal assessment on an annual basis, so nobody has to come forward and say, I'm having a problem. Because there is a resistance among young, healthy people who would step forward and volunteer for military duty to do that sort of thing. So I think we're all agreed on that. This has been a good hearing. Mr. Ranking Member, thank you. I'm going to ask unanimous consent that we leave the hearing record open for 24 hours to accept any additional questions for the record. Without objection, that is so ordered. And gentlemen, thank you for your testimony, and we conclude this hearing.